To replace or hopefully for Nebraska surpass Bo Pelini's 9 wins per season, the Huskers turn toward Mike Riley, former Oregon State coach and of the San Diego Chargers. We bring in Brian Towle of SB Nation to help us sort this thing out and get some thoughts on why it was Mr. Riley. So we bring in Brian. Hey, Brian, how are you?
Well, I'm trying to got a little perplexed on this one. But.
Yeah, we ran down the short list, and even if we would have gone down the long list, I think we would have gone off the list to bring in Mike Riley. So how did this all come about?
Well, I guess Riley interviewed for the Wisconsin job when Brett Bielema left before Gary Anderson arrived, and kind of wonder if Sean Eichhorst, who's the AD at Nebraska, happened to get a tip from his Wisconsin mentor Barry Alvarez about the want for Riley to come in, and sounds like it was kind of like a 1, maybe 2 question deal where, you know, Riley was either the first or second guy on the docket, depending on who you ask, and Nebraska spent 41 days to go from Frank Solich to Bill Callahan. They go exactly 96 hours to get from Bo Pelini to Mike Riley.
Mike Riley was a hot commodity, about 10, 12 years ago when he went from Oregon State, and that program was down and out for a long time, and he made it a pretty respectable bowl team that won some decent games. And then he goes to the San Diego Chargers. Now, going back to Oregon State, they've been decent for the most part, and not so much this year, but they've gone to bowl games, but really haven't jumped off the map. So why do you think they really liked Riley?
I think, one, he's the opposite of Bo Pelini, very casual with the fan base, appreciates the fan base, easy to work with the media. That's kind of opposite the way Bo was. Bo wasn't really fond of the media. Never seemed really comfortable in Lincoln, Nebraska. 61 years old. Been told he could do it another 10 or so years. Has sent guys to the NFL. Offensive mind. Loves the pro/West Coast thing. But remember correctly, his last interview in Corvallis, he was maybe looking to add in a little bit of a spread zone type of thing to his offense. Matches with Nebraska very well. Nebraska can run power offense pretty well. It can spread it out and throw the ball on you and such. One big thing, he develops quarterbacks. He develops wide receivers. Brandon Cooks just went to the league off of him. Sean Mannion's going to go to the league. He also developed Derek Anderson. That's a pretty decent forte, and I'm sure there's a lot of guys I'm missing, but Mike Riley could take talent and not get a lot of talent in Corvallis. A lot of people are telling me that Lincoln would be a dream job compared to Corvallis as far as facilities, as far as budget and stuff. And to be quite honest, he's done a pretty good job living in the shadow of Phil Knight and 50 miles down the road in Eugene, Oregon. So what Mike Riley can do is he finally has a budget. He doesn't have to fly coach like he did the 1 year at the Pac-12 media days where he was flying coach and Chip Kelly had to give him a ride back to Corvallis. He has planes. He has a facility that's one of the best in America. I read John Cannizzaro of the Portland paper up there, talking about whether they can get Reser Stadium rebuilt, whether they can get that football only facility for him. He has that now. Tom Osborne's name's on it. One of the best facilities in America. Used to be one of the best strength and conditioning programs in America. And its brother, Boyd Epley, is coming back to help him do that. So he now has a top-notch, world-class strength and conditioning guy at his disposal. He has one of the best stadiums in college football to show off that has been sold out since the early '60s. He has top-notch facilities. He has a budget. He can go like this and get a plane to go anywhere in America to go talk to a kid. So definitely something that if there's a guy that had a dream job, it's Mike Riley at Nebraska because it's a step up from everything he had in Corvallis.
So yeah, he goes from second fiddle in his own state to being king of college football in like a 2 to 3 state radius in almost any direction. He will need a defensive coordinator, though, a strong one.
Yeah. talk is that the gentleman from Oregon State will follow him there. One thing that's really going to define Riley on this is his assistants. Nebraska kind of gets a little scared and everything when they say pro style because they look at the 2-foot big box that Bill Callahan brought every playbook in and get scared with that. I think Riley's a little easier system to learn. I think, obviously he's produced and developed kids on offense. Defensively, it's going to be, we're going to see who he hires. It's going to matter on his assistants. Early indication that Ed Orgeron, the former Ole Miss head coach, blindside guy, and USC man, was interested in being his recruiting coordinator. Yes, please. Okay, because Orgeron's going to get the kids, and he can coach a little bit of D-line just as well. So it'll be interesting who he hires. His big thing is he's got to win every press conference. That's one thing that Bo Pelini did not do. He did not win every press conference. Lost more the last 2 years than he cared to tell. And the thing about the thing about Riley is that he could bring a guy like Orgeron in, and his statement is, "I need to hire guys that are better than me." So his OC hire will be interesting. He's not going to bring the one gentleman that he had at Oregon State was only in his first year. Let's see what he does. A couple spots in Nebraska lacked last year was tight end play, linebacker play. Special teams got better, but it could have been a lot. Has room to grow. And definitely Nebraska. It's interesting to see how he'll play in the Big Ten. One guy that I think he should go after is the gentleman. I can't remember his name offhand. It's the offensive coordinator from the University of Colorado State that just so happened to say goodbye. Jim McElwain won't take with him. I can't remember his name offhand. He's the gentleman that was at the OC at Michigan State. He developed Drew Stanton, and that's pretty good. And I want to say Cousins also was early under him. If he can get guys like that who understand the conference and can recruit and can develop and get a good offense and defense, he'll do well in Lincoln.
Well, like you alluded to, Brandon Cooks vouches for Riley's ability to develop not just quarterbacks, but skill players, and also build schemes around those players that work. Even though, you alluded to what he likes to do in offense. So before we let you go, Brian, thumbs up or thumbs down?
I think on the surface, thumbs up. Kind of like a little iffy thumbs up. It's not, Julius Caesar there. It's there a little bit. We're going to see what he hires for OCs. If he can hit the home run and get a couple, 3 good OCs along with a couple, 3 recruiters, right now I don't expect him to save a whole. If he gets Orgeron, he could save the class. If he doesn't get Orgeron, he could save some of it. Recruiting next year, we'll find out. But he's got a big test. First game of the year is going to be against Bronco Mendenhall and BYU right off the bat in Lincoln. He's got to go see Brad Kaya and Sun Life Stadium in Miami also that year. And Wisconsin's on the bill in Lincoln, and that schedule does him no favor. So he's going to have to run out of the box and quick. 7-5 is going to get a lot of people in Lincoln upset with him. It may be good in Corvallis. You're going to a completely different animal, and a lot of people, myself included, are going to have the same. What we held the Bo Pelini standards, we're going to hold the Mike Riley, and no conference channel in 16 years. It's fair. I want to see him succeed, like I want to see Bo Pelini succeed, and I think he's going to do well with the with the fan base. I think he's going to do well with the player. One thing that he's going to bring to the players, it's not going to be Bo Pelini brought the us versus the world mentality. Mike Riley's going to show every player that, hey, you have a sold out fan base. You have people that travel. You have people. All these people want you to see you succeed. If he gets those kids' eyes open to that, maybe that'll help just as much. So right now, I'm cautiously optimistic. I want to see something happen a little more, and we'll talk about that then when we see assistants and everything after the bowl game.
Yeah, I think what the good indication here is that they talked in the firing news conference of Bo Pelini about not contending for championships, needing to seriously contend for championships and play well in the big games. You would think that they would have gone for the big splash had it been 96 hours later, but they go for Mike Riley, who's very established and very respected across the nation, but not the big splash name. So they must have been very convinced that this was the good move to make.
Yeah, I think a lot. I think, in reality, unless you were going to get the, McElwain could have been that name too. A guy like Jim Tressel, who everybody wanted, Scott Frost, everybody wanted. There's only 3 or 4 names that are going to make everybody go, wow. Riley's solid. Is he safe? I don't know if he's safe. He could meticulously fail. But like I said, if he gets guys like, I just found the name, Dave Baldwin, Colorado State, who's up for the Colorado State job now that McElwain's left. If he gets like a Dave Baldwin to come in and develop players and gets 2 or 3 good, solid defensive hires coming to Lincoln to help fix things like the linebacking core and overall defense, then you know what? He'll do just as well to be that CEO guy that everybody kind of wanted, somebody like a Tressel or even a Joe Mowgli to come do. So if he gets that, and he has a nice big slate. I mean, it's not like he's having to rebuild the wheel here, but it's his dream job. He has more resources. He has more money. He can definitely get whatever he wants in Lincoln. It's time to show that everybody says he's underrated. Well, it's time to live up to that billing, and no better place in Lincoln, Nebraska, for him to do it.
Very good. I think it's a unique situation, unlike any other place I can think of where the tradition is as good as it gets. The resources, and you mentioned all the perks with the resources and everything's at his fingertips and all the resources and money he could ever want. He does have to travel to get the recruits. They're not in his backyard. All right, Brian, thanks for staying up late and knocking this out for us. We appreciate it.
Man. Yep.